Hi, this is Kathy with Where School Meets Community. Today, we're going to be talking with someone with a special needs child. When families have children with special needs, the question of community sports becomes even more critical. How do schools, neighborhoods, and communities step up or fall short when students need extra help? We're going to be exploring how community support affects student success across Texas. And today, I'm speaking with a parent who has navigated the unique challenges of raising a special needs child. So, everyone, let's give a warm welcome to Dinu Samuels.
Hi.
Hi, Dinu. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your experience so far?
So my name is Dinu Samuel. I do have a special needs child and actually have two of them. What I can say is I've been blessed because I do have my family close by, which has been very supportive. Especially when the kids were younger, it was a little bit more difficult because we did have to find different types of daycare, and some of them wouldn't accept the needs that my kid had. And so it was interesting, and a very unique challenge at that time. But now, the kids have grown up and it's been a little bit more easier to find that care versus when they were younger. Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. I have also been able to work with special needs kiddos. So it's been nice to use what I have learned over the years also for my own children.
So, you said that you faced some challenges in regards to finding care for your kids when they were younger. What care were you able to find, and how did you find it?
We were, like I said, we were lucky enough to have my parents around, or my close family around. And so it was really helpful to have them take care of the kids when we needed to, when I had to go to work or if one of them got sick or something like that. But when I remember specifically when my oldest was about 18 months old, which we knew he already had special needs, and we were attempting to find a daycare to just support him because he was a very nonverbal child. And so thankfully, we were able to find a quality daycare that was willing to take him in. However, it came with an exorbitant amount. Or a price tag attached to it. And it was not very easy because there was quite a wait list, and we were very, very lucky to find it at that time. Um, but, you know, like at that time, it was just a hard thing to do because our jobs, like the amount of money that we were receiving working, it just wasn't enough to cover what a special needs kiddo needed at that time.
Okay. You obviously had your family support, and you were lucky enough to eventually find a daycare. Um, but obviously, it still came with finances and stuff like that. So, how did you handle that part?
Which what, the financial part or
Yeah.
um so again, like I said, my parents helped us out a lot.
Okay.
It was definitely where they were willing to pitch in and support us with being able to make that cost of daycare at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, and so thankfully my parents were able to pitch in to do that. They were also very supportive in being able to pick up the boys if they needed to be picked up, just different things like that. But like I said, I've been very blessed to have my parents close by to support us with that.
Sounds like you really were blessed with your parents. Okay, so now let's fast forward to current day situation. What is it like now for a typical day in your family? And what specific supports have made it easier for you now? And what additional supports would you like to see, if any?
Um, yeah, so one of the things that we recently went into was I was trying to find some before school care for one of my kiddos, but because they have a special education label attached to it, And this isn't just me, actually, multiple families that I've talked to that have a kiddo with a special needs label to it. School districts have a hard time answering whether we are able to use their before care or aftercare. And those kids have a harder time getting into those programs. So that is definitely something that I've found out recently that has hit very close to home. And this isn't the first time I've heard of that. But again, like I said, my parents are close by right now, so it's been very helpful. Being able to utilize special education transportation has been really helpful for our family recently. Um, um, Not my youngest, but my oldest does get utilize it more often, especially in the morning for arrival and dismissal. So that part has been very helpful. But like I said, finding that care for before and after school, especially for a special needs kiddo, and then trying to do it through the school system, has just been difficult.
Okay. What do you think is your biggest worry right now about your child's future given your current support situation?
My biggest worry is really as he grows older, what kind of supports are going to be available for him. Because right now we have a lot of systems in place that we can rely on. And albeit it's me chauffeuring a lot of people around, or, my parents supporting us when they can. But I don't know what's going to happen. Like if something were to happen to me or my husband or to my parents, and that level of system that's in place for my child is no longer there, and he has to do it on his own. So that's my worry basically. But I feel like that's also everybody's worry too. But just with a kiddo who just has the special needs and some of um, the additional things that come along with it, it's just a huge worry for us.
Okay. I could definitely see where you're not sure what supports are going to be available in the future. I could definitely see that being a huge worry. But let's talk about and talk about the emotional and personal impact in your life. Um, how do you personally cope when you're feeling overwhelmed? Maybe you can help some special needs parents out there, or maybe you can even help the community understand how you can come in and help support someone who has a special needs child with both the emotional and personal impact. What do you think?
Um, so one thing, so we go to our local church does have a champions club, and that's been very helpful. My kiddo has utilized their care services once in a while, and it's
Okay,
been
let's back up real quick. What's a champions club?
so at Lakewood. So they have a champions club. It's for special needs families. And they have kind of like it's every Sunday or whenever they have services that they take special needs kids in, and they have a sensory room. They have arts and crafts projects that are available to them, and the parents get to go enjoy the services while they have trained personnel to take care of their child's special needs.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So that has been really nice and has been very helpful, and connecting with some of those families have been really nice too. So that's kind of where I go to, especially when things get overwhelming. Faith is also a big deal for us. So just giving it up to God. So that's been another huge relief or a stress relief for us. And I've like over the years, we've just met other family members. We've the ARC, the Fort Bend ARC has been really helpful. Just connecting with different people, just some other people that you can kind of voice to, and they can voice back to you. That's been nice and helpful as well. So
Okay, that's good. I'm glad at least you have some organizations that are out there helping you, and then you're able to at least connect with other people,
mhm.
especially special needs families. Do you have you ever felt judged by other parents or school staff? And if so, do you want to share some of those experiences?
Yeah, there is always going to be some sort of a judgment because when your kid's throwing a tantrum in the middle of the grocery store at HEB, people are going to be looking. But I also that's when I lean back on my experience working with special needs kids, and I just remember this is probably something that they've never seen. And for them, it's like a novel event. For me, I've seen it in the past and I kind of just go with the flow on it. But I do know that other families have struggled with that. So a lot of times families won't take their kids to the stores or they won't take them on outings because of the judgmental stares that they do get.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the other day the boys and I had gone to, I think, Costco, and there was a special needs child there who was making sounds. But I was impressed with everybody around them. I mean, yes, occasionally we had people just kind of looking and just looking, but nobody saying anything, nobody doing anything or videoing or anything. And the kid did what they needed to do. So I feel like it's kind of a give and take. I think nowadays with all the, what do you call it, the highlight or like the spotlight on special
Hmm.
needs that we do have, that we kind of have an idea of what it looks like, what it feels like. Um, Now, is it for everyone? Like everybody doesn't know about it, but it is known enough that people aren't standing there or going looking around saying, "Oh my God, look at that child! Look at that parent! They're not doing this. They're not doing that." But just allowing for that child to be a child.
Okay. What barriers do you think still exist in areas that people may not realize? Because I know that there are still probably a lot of barriers that even I'm not aware of. But what barriers do you think are still existing?
Some of the barriers I feel like are existing are to personally for me is just being able to accept some of the child's behavior needs. So when you have severity in the level of autism or in the level of whatever their diagnosis is, other people may not really know it. And so then when you have this, kid that's on the floor screaming his head off, everybody's just, like, yeah, there's some people that will just walk around, but at times it might be nice to kind of offer the parents some support. Like, it's still hard for people to do that. And I find myself, even though I've worked with special needs children, like sometimes I do step back and say, well, let me see what they need. And if they need it, I'll offer the support. But in the past, it's just been kind of like, oh no, I can't deal with it. What if I do something wrong and that affects my career and I don't want to do this? So then I walk away. I think just being empathetic and just offering that empathy when the parents need it, kind of gathering around those families and just letting them know, like, hey, it's okay. Yes, your kid's going through this. It's okay, but we'll just surround you and just letting them know that life happens and we're going to move on and it's going to be okay. But then you also have those families that have those the medically fragile babies and just gathering them and supporting them and being able to say, hey, we're coming. We know you're going through X, Y, and Z, but we just want to support you on that. But that also goes back to whatever the family's culture is, because culturally they might not be willing to accept that support also. So those are some barriers that I see.
Okay. I know that you were talking about providing a lot more empathy for people with children who have special needs, or even for the kids themselves who are special needs. What other things do you wish you could tell the community, whether it's the individual or even corporations and companies, schools? What are things that you wish they would know, like maybe to add additional types of supports? Because yes, empathy is a huge one, but what else? Sorry.
Uh, no, that's fine. Like as far as the corporate world, I kind of wish that they realize, like as parents of special needs kids, sometimes we just having the minimum number of days of self-care days is not enough. Sometimes we just need that additional days without having to have that penalties. The other thing is some days we're gonna have to come in late because our, kiddos have had some sort of an issue and be willing to work with us. Because I don't think parents with special needs are very like poor workers. They're just exhausted and they're tired and they just need to have people just behind them saying, "Hey, it's okay. We're gonna get to the work. We're gonna get to it whenever we get to it." But those kind of things, I do think there's a lack of empathy when it comes to workplaces and not having those abilities to just call in and say, "Hey, I need to be able to come in at like 10 a.m. because Johnny, had a huge meltdown and we were late going into the school." And also sometimes just having respite care for those kiddos, just being able to offer the daycare or being able to offer programs for before school or after school or even during the workday, and having people that are appropriately trained to deal with the special needs that the kids are coming with.
Mhm.
I think that will be very beneficial for a lot of our families.
Is there anything additional that I have not asked that you want to share out, or is there anything you would like to say to anyone who sees this video, whether it's schools, whether it's corporations, whether it's friends and family? Is there anything?
I think a lot of people are trying, and I do think society is trying. It's just realizing that special needs families just it's hard for them, and it's just not the same as some of the other families that may have, like, that have typically growing children, and some of our babies aren't able to go into the sports that they want to, and they're not able to you know draw a picture like the way that we expect our just expect art to look like. And it's okay. It's okay, and we're trying our hardest to provide these opportunities for our babies. It just looks totally different, and I think including our kiddos a little bit more would just help our families feel more engaged and wanting to be participating in all these other events. I do, like I said, I do believe that society is trying. It's just taking a little bit longer than we would have liked it to be, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you being willing to come and talk with me today. Um, Again, everybody, this is Dinu Samuels, and signing off with Where Schools Meet Community. Dinu's experience highlights something crucial when communities truly understand and support families with special needs students. Everyone benefits. Her insights shows us that effective support isn't just about having resources available, it's about accessibility, understanding, and genuine partnership between families, schools, and communities. Every community has families like Danu's. The question is, are we going to create the systems and connections that help them thrive? Thank you to Danu for sharing her expertise and helping us all understand how to better support special need families in our communities. If you're interested in learning more about how community support affects students, subscribe to our Schools Meet Community. And if you're a parent or community member with insight to share, reach out. Your voice matters.